Let's go over our ingredients. First, we're gonna need 4 chicken quarters cut up. Now I separated the legs from the thighs. Now to make our adobo sauce, this is just kind of like my base adobo sauce. Now, the only difference in this sauce is the chilies. You can use different chilies to make an adobo sauce. Now, the difference in some of them is the spice level. So for the spice level, I'm gonna be using a few chile de arbos. But you could use hatch peppers, you can use chipotle peppers, whatever spice level you want to bring into this adobo sauce will just determine, what type of pepper you're going to be using. So I'm actually going to be using about 5 chile de arbos just to give it a little bit of kick to it. And the main flavored chili, this is a chile guajillo. We can use chile California, whatever flavorful chili you want to use, chile pasilla, chile ancho. Go ahead and pick out whatever chili you're going to be using. The guajillo and California chilies, they're gonna add a nice red color to this. So just keep that in mind. And then we will also need half of an onion, 3 Roma tomatoes, about 3 garlic cloves, 2 teaspoons of oregano, 1 teaspoon of cumin. And finally, to add some nice flavor to the sauce, we're gonna be adding 2 teaspoons of chicken bouillon. All right, in a pot with water, I added the chile de arbos and the chile guajillos. Now the chile guajillos, I opened them up, I took out all the seeds, and I took the stems off the chile de arbos too. So we're gonna cover this and we're gonna cook this for about 15 to 20 minutes. All right, so these have been cooking for a little over 15 minutes. I'm gonna let these steep just for a few minutes and then we'll get them blending. All right, in our blender we have the tomatoes and the onion. Now add in our chiles. Add in our oregano, garlic, cumin, and the chicken bouillon. One thing I forgot to mention, we're gonna be adding in a 1/4 cup of white distilled vinegar and about 1 cup of water. And we'll give this a blend. All right, you wanna make sure that you puree this really well. Now we're just gonna taste for seasoning to see kind of like where we're at. So it does need a little bit more seasoning, but we'll do that at the end. All right, so we have our chicken pieces here. And all we're gonna do with these is we're just gonna season with salt and pepper. And we're gonna start with the bottom of the thighs first. Just season with a little bit of sea salt. And you wanna get your legs too. And just some fresh cracked black pepper. You want to make sure you get your legs too. Now we'll give these a flip. Okay, now we'll season the skin side. Now you want to be a little generous on the skin. I'm going to let this sit for a little bit just to kind of dry it out a little bit. Now to finish this off, just a little bit of fresh cracked black pepper. All right, we're going to let this sit for about 10 minutes and then we'll fry them up. In a deep saucepan or fry pan, we're gonna put our heat to about medium heat. We're gonna lay down a little bit of cooking oil. Actually, quite a bit of cooking oil. That way we can get a fry on this chicken. All right, we'll let this come to temp. Now that we see our oil's nice and hot, go ahead and start frying our chicken thighs and legs. Fit all 8 pieces of chicken in there. All right, so we're gonna let this cook for about 4 minutes and then we'll give it a flip. All right, gotta love that sound. Got a nice sizzle going up from this oil. So we'll go ahead and give these a flip. It's been about 4 minutes. Go ahead and twist these over. Let this side go for about another 4 to 5 minutes and then we'll remove this and then we'll add our sauce and we'll finish cooking off the chicken. All right, now that we got some browning on our chicken, go ahead and remove this and we'll add in our sauce. Got a nice crispy skin on that, but it still needs a little bit more. We're just about there, but we're gonna get this sauce in here so that way we can finish off the chicken. All right, so now we reduced our heat to about a little under medium-low heat. Now we're just gonna add in our sauce to this. Okay, Okay, just all the stuff that's on the bottom, you want to just loosen that up and just mix it in with your sauce. Just skim out some of the excess oil. That was my mistake. I was actually looking at notifications on stuff, but we're just getting this oil out. Actually remove some of that before you actually put your sauce in there. You just want to leave like the chicken drippings and like the little bits and pieces that the chicken leaves out as it's frying. All right, so now they got most of that oil out of it. All right, so we're just gonna cook this sauce for just a tad bit. We still have raw onion in there, raw garlic, so you don't want that to be real, you know, with a spicy bite to it. So we're just gonna cook this for a couple minutes. Now let's go ahead and add in our chicken, and we'll probably cover this up and let it simmer for about 10 to 15 minutes. The chicken's almost there. It still needs a little bit more time. Now that I got most of that oil out, our sauce has been cooking for a couple minutes, so now let's add in our chicken. All right, so now that we have all our chicken in there, you just want to make sure you get some of that goodness in there. Now I did add a little bit of salt to the sauce before I added the chicken. That's perfect. So now we're just gonna let this chicken finish off. Got this about medium-low heat. Let it do its thing. Okay, after about 15 minutes cooking with the lid on, let's check our chicken. Now chicken's fully cooked at 165 degrees. Temping over 170 on this one. 180. 180 on that one. So yeah, our chicken's good. All right, so now at this point, what you could do is you could thicken up this sauce and let it cook without the lid on, or you can serve it like this. But I'm gonna let it go just a little bit more. I'm gonna raise up the temperature of the heat, kind of just reduce it down a little bit. Let this thicken up. We'll take that sauce, just cover our chicken with it. I'll tell you, it smells really good. It's got a lot of spices in there, a lot of depth flavor. All right, let this go for a few minutes. Just skimming out some of this fat that came out of the chicken, possibly some of the oil that I left in there. All right, so we're gonna let this go for a few minutes. Kind of reduce that sauce down a little bit. All right, after a few minutes of it simmering here, it's starting to get thick how I want it. Just kind of baste everything with that sauce as it's thickening. We're looking about good. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and plate this up. I have some rice that I have some vegetables cooked in it, and we'll get this served up. Okay, with a little scoop of rice, we're gonna add in our chicken. Had a leg on there too. Now we'll just drench it with a little bit of that sauce that we made. All right, how I like to serve this up, a little bit of rice, kind of break that up a little bit. The best part of it is you get to mix some of that rice and that sauce together. Some really good stuff. But the main part of the show is this chicken. Before I show you, fully cooked. Dip it in that sauce, y'all. That's all flavor right there. Cheers, y'all. Tons of flavor right there. Real savory, bold, a little bit of heat, not spicy. The sauce is not spicy at all, but you can make it as spicy as you want. So if you're looking for a little bit more of a kick, just add a few more of those chile de arbol or whatever pepper you want to add in there. But this sauce is fantastic. A little bit of that rice, a little bit of chicken. That's a bite right there. Well, Miss Cooking with Kirby's back there tearing it up. She's got her own plate and she's loving it. If you're new to my channel, consider hitting the subscribe button. That way you can see future videos just like this. Now, I hope you really enjoy this recipe. I have these recipes here. They're really good. You should try them out. Now, y'all be beautiful and take care.